probably one of my greatest 60G moves ever. I skipped to midway in the game. So just to give you guys a summary of the books we're running, Tiger has Gargoyle, Totem, so Peg DK, and he has Skyray, Bones. So he's running a bit of an aerial mix with Gargoyle, and he also has Gravity Pulse as his little cheese spell. From my perspective, here I just have my Totem out, I have a Swarm, and essentially in games like this with Totem, you want to get your setup down first. Once you have your setup proper, then you can get your minions out and whatnot. So, or rather, once you get your minions out, then with Totem, you can break free and actually start engaging. So here, let's see. And at this point, I don't know if he's revealed Skyray just yet, but you know, he's playing out. He's playing it safe. He's staying on the sides. He's not really committing to top because he does have 2 aerials. He's only revealed Bones so far, but he has 2 aerials and he has a good Bones opportunity here actually. Let's see how he plays. One thing that I think he's making a mistake is he's ledging this too hard towards the end here, and that makes it so it's easy to tree and trap from my perspective. So that's actually, I think that's what I do here. Let me see. So I choose to summon a Swarm here. He's probably going to drain that, and I can resummon the Totem in a more optimal spot. That's a fair move. Yeah. I'm only going to show you guys this clip until like the climax where, game is decided. I think it's a pretty good treat. I usually don't make plays this good, but I think this is probably like one of the best 60G moves I've ever seen. And in the heat of the moment, it's hard to like make these, really execute these plays, but the fact that I did do it made it worthy of an upload in my book. So here, he's just getting more setup out. So he has his Gargoyle out. His game plan is really just get that healthy, use the Totem, dig towards me. And then with Peg, DK, Gargoyle, he can just pressure me like so. Now, again, like I said, he put his Peg in a suboptimal spot. And since he did so, he has to commit maybe a Totem here to start freeing it up. The nice thing about Undead Peg and Totem interaction is the Totem slightly gets killed. So from a counter perspective, it's nice. I don't support, by the way, 25 HP Totem. I think Totem is fine as is. It does add a bit of, I think, depth to 60s games. I think there's like other spells that are problematic, but I don't think Totem on its own is like a problematic spell. So that's just my perspective. But yeah, now he's trying to free that shit, and I actually have a good play here where I can shock bomb and kill that Totem so that it never frees the Pegasus. So we're gonna see that in action right now. I still have all 4 shock bombs at this point, and he's only so far revealed Gravity Pulse. He hasn't revealed what he's about to do now, which is to entangle me. So basically his strategy is interesting. He has Pulse and Entangle. I don't believe he runs Tower in this book. So it's a bit of a greedy book where you kind of go to the sides, and once you're on the sides, you use your aerials and Totem and Garg to really dig towards your opponent. Now he missed that Entangle. It hit the bone instead of hitting me, and that blast radius is pretty small on Entangle. So that was pretty unlucky for him. Not a huge deal in either case, and you'll see that he kind of does bounce back. That's not like, a big deal for him. Even if he hit that, my optimal play would have been probably just to sink myself and tully back down. But yeah, I think, that kind of sucks for him, but it's not like the end of the world, and you're about to see he's still in a pretty good spot, considering in this book I don't have any aerials. And since I don't have any aerials, I can't really contest topside. From the side, that is. When you're on the side like this, it's easier to contest top. If you do have aerials, you can kind of whittle away on your opponent, but I took Shock Shield this game. And with Shock Shield, you kind of want top control. The issue is it's kind of hard to establish top control if you're in a spot where they have like they play towards the sides and um, they kind of just stall out with their aerials. Now here he hadn't revealed basically he had not revealed Skyray just yet. So and on this turn he actually does reveal it, which sucks for me. I guess I should have maybe seen that coming and I could have placed my Swarm here, in which case I would have got that free peg. So that kind of sucks. I take some damage, my peg dies, my Swarm dies. I lose that bit of momentum. But it is what it is. At least he revealed his Skyray, so I know he has that for future context. Now, um, you know, he hasn't revealed DK quite yet. He's running a couple spells that are like, I guess one Gravity Pulse is good for cheesing on the side if someone tries to come get you, and then Entangle is good for setting up, just setting up so that by the time you set up and you get all your minions strong and whatnot, you can go in for the kill with momentum. Now the thing is, here he prots. I actually don't think that's a good move. I don't think greedy prots like this are good moves in like any situation. I think he does it maybe because he's kind of like just doesn't see a move. But I think if he just drained that totem, open up that land for himself so that his Swarm could go free and potentially put mine in danger, that would have been a much better move on his end. So I think he played too defensively there. And one of the hallmarks of a really good 60s player is actually knowing when to be offensive and defensive. So that's like a little hiccup on his end. He could have played that better by not being like overtly defensive. That's like something, when players are just kind of really learning the game and trying and like starting to get good. The issue is that's like the last big habit to break. When to be offensive, because that can basically decide a turn, and a turn can decide the game for you. So here he positions his Pegasus like so here. I can kill his Peggy though, and he doesn't have a counter move to it immediately. My DK is pretty healthy since I got that drain off at least. So that drain at least helped me with the DK's health. But now I can get rid of his peg. So even if he summons a DK, he has to have good positioning on that DK so that he can essentially move it around, and he does. He has a bunch of flying minions, so he can, with a good micro, he can send that shit anywhere. So I put the Swarm here to block off. If his Swarm tries to kill mine, maybe his Gargoyle won't fit or whatever. Now what he does is interesting. He basically thinks to himself, well, okay, his DK's out on top side. If I can just isolate the DK and then kill that DK with my own DK, then I have a guard DK advantage over him. And since I don't have guard personally, I'm at a bigger disadvantage because my only win con at that point becomes Swarm and Pebbles. So if my only win con is Swarm and Pebbles, I'm just at a huge disadvantage. He makes one crucial mistake though, and that mistake is being too much to the right. He does so because it's kind of easier to ladder yourself. If he's like standing or like flying right here and he summons the DK right there, the issue is that he's gonna have to like jump it over a few times, and he wanted to save that time for himself. But it's also a big weakness because I'm able to execute this play with very little time remaining, and I think this is probably one of the best plays I've made in a long time. I At this point, I only have like 13 seconds left, so if this fucked up, this jump, I would have probably been in a really bad spot. Definitely would have lost my DK at the least. But as you saw, I was able to get the ladder up, then Ice Shield, and then get my DK over and get rid of all his prots, kill his DK, and yeah, at this point the game's pretty much won. And if you just fast forward, I'm able to just whittle down his stall and beat him basically. So yeah, this was basically a way to play against, two aerials with shock shield. And in this game, I actually did not take flash. I took totem instead and BFTP with a tower. So I think those are interchangeable, but you guys are free to experiment how you may. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Bye.